Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicle Night channel. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get Pokemon TCG code cards. Are you looking to complete your card collection online for the latest set? PTCGO has everything you need. And please remember to use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Please enjoy the discount and your purchase directly supports the content I create in this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your supporting PTCGO. In today's video, we're taking a look at ALOLAN RATICATE from the Pokemon Go expansion set. ALOLAN RATICATE is a stage 1 Pokemon with 120 HP, 3 retreat cost, no resistance, and is weak to grass. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Chase Up. For 1 Dark Energy, you can search your deck for any 1 card and put it into your hand. And what makes this Pokemon unique is its second attack, Super Fang. For 3 colorless energy, you can put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. It is worth noting that its basic stage, ALOLAN RATICATE, only has 40 HP, and it's so easy to get knocked out, so we won't be using it at all. Instead, we'll be using ZOROARK with a Phantom Transformation ability, which allows you to switch this Pokemon with one of your stage 1 Pokemon in your discard pile. Now, to guarantee us the instant knockout, the most obvious Pokemon to pair with ALOLAN RATICATE is GARBODOR with the Poisonous Puddle ability. Once during your turn, if a stadium is in play, you can make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. So with ALOLAN RATICATE's attack to decrease your opponent's active Pokemon's HP down to 10, and then GARBODOR's poison can take the last 10 HP, allowing you to take that instant knockout. And to energize ALOLAN RATICATE's attack, I'll be using the full set of Double Turbo Energy, and also the Dark Patch to help accelerate 1 Dark Energy from the discard pile to one of your bench Dark type Pokemon. While our Double Turbo Energy is easily disrupted by the Temple of Sinnoh Stadium, I added 1 copy of Pumpkaboo with a Pumpkin Pit ability so we can discard our opponent's stadium when we play this in the bench. And since we're using ZOROARK to transform, I might as well add a copy of Slowbro, more for its Twilight Inspiration attack. For 2 colorless energy, if your opponent is down to their last prize, you can take 2 prizes. And I was thinking that adding Medicham V would be good, so we can use its Yoga Loop attack, allowing you to get another turn if you knock out a Pokemon with this attack. But with so much going on in the deck, I found myself not using this at all, so I would probably recommend just leaving this out of the deck. And finally, I'm using the Spikemuth Stadium. I got the idea from FTW, and I thought this was a unique strategy, just in case we can't KO our opponent's active Pokemon. As long as ALOLAN RATICATE can bring its HP down to 10, if your opponent tries to retreat, the Stadium will deal 2 damage counter to that Pokemon, knocking it out. The strategy for this build is really interesting, but there's just too much setup required to make it work. True, leaving your opponent's Pokemon down to its last HP can be very strong, especially if you can get multiple prizes for the knockout. But for the most part, this RATICATE doesn't do too well against single prize builds. Overall, I think ALOLAN RATICATE is very clunky as a standalone, but I think as a backup tech, I think it could be very useful. And that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing ALOLAN RATICATE. Alright, let's get right into our first match. My opponent chooses to go first, and we're going to have to mulligan. So with this build, there are a few things that you have to set up. You have to make sure you can discard an ALOLAN RATICATE. And then you have to set up a ZOROARK line so that you can transform into ALOLAN RATICATE. Then set up GARBODOR so that you can poison your opponent's active Pokemon. But you have to make sure that you have a stadium in play. So there's just a lot of things going on. So my opponent's going to start this one with a Zacian V in their active spot. And it looks like they're using a Bronzong line so that they can transfer metal energies from one Pokemon to another. And, ooh, they're also using Origin Form Dialga V and VSTAR, I suppose. So if they're able to, yep, sure enough, it's Dialga VSTAR. They can take multiple turns if they can use their VSTAR power attack. But this could be a good matchup for us, because we're taking multiple prizes each time we knock out their Pokemon. But we have to set up first of all. Just going to discard this energy. We can get that back with their Training Court Stadium. And I think I'll set up my Trubbish, my GARBODOR line first, because I think it's harder to set it up than ZOROARK. And then I'll just use Bruno for now. Alright, cool. We got a RATICATE and a Quick Ball actually, so that we can discard it. Now we can transform into a RATICATE. All the meantime, we're just gonna get a Zorua. And since we had 2 cards on hand that activated Radiant Venusaur's ability, drawing us into another Zorua and a Snorlax. That's very cool. So I'll probably use Marnie, and as long as we can get a switch card, scoop up maybe, We can use Snorlax to draw into more cards on our turn. But yeah, I'm anticipating Dialga VSTAR's multiple turn attack, but even then they're only taking 2 prizes, if anything. So we're still, I think we should have an advantage over this, because we're taking multiple prizes as opposed to my opponent taking only 1 prize at a time. And it really helps that their setup is pretty slow as well. That gives us a little bit more time to set up our ALOLAN RATICATE. Just gonna use Marnie. Alright, we got a Garbodor, that's good. And then we have a Professor's Research for our next turn. I'll just get a ZOROARK. And then I'm thinking of transforming into ALOLAN RATICATE now so that I can start energizing it. For now, I'm just gonna poison their Zacian V to put a little bit of pressure to it. I'll have to transform into ALOLAN RATICATE because we need to start putting energy. You can't put energy on ZOROARK because when you transform, it's gonna discard that energy. I'll use their Stadium for now and then replace it with our Spike Myth. And then I'm just gonna pass. Again, that activates Venusaur's ability, and that gets us another Zorua. So we're doing pretty good with our setup here. We can use our Raticate on our next turn, and they have plenty of energy on their Dialga VSTAR already. So even if they knock out our Radiant Venusaur, we can take a quick knockout with our Raticate. But if they boss our Raticate, that's the bad thing. There are a few ways that we can fully energize Raticate. So as long as we draw into a Dark Patch and possibly a double Turbo Energy, we can easily put 3 energies to ALOLAN RATICATE to get a full knockout against their Dialga VSTAR. Alright, so they're just gonna knock out my Radiant Venusaur, and they use their Star Chronos attack, so that gives them another turn. So Snorlax seems to be the most practical to put in the active spot, but then again, they could just use Boss and just boss my ALOLAN RATICATE. But yeah, if used wisely, man, Dialga VSTAR can be a very dangerous Pokemon to deal with. If you haven't seen my video, I did a 4-turn attack, taking all the prizes against an opponent. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. It's really cool. And yeah, my opponent has a lot of Crobat. I think having 2 Crobats in a deck, I mean, this is my opinion, okay? It just puts too much liability and fills your bench too much. So that's why, if anything, having only 1 is practical. So they're just gonna knock out my Snorlax. They get 2 prizes, but now we're gonna get a prize, 2 prizes off of their Dialga VSTAR, and we can draw into a lot more cards with our Bruno. Right, we got Snorlax and another Zorua. So let's go ahead and use Poisonous Puddle. That will poison their Dialga VSTAR, Super Fang, and that's gonna knock out their Dialga VSTAR. There it is, guys. Yeah, ALOLAN RATICATE is a little gimmicky, I gotta admit. Against single prize builds, it doesn't do too well just because there's a lot to set up for ALOLAN RATICATE, and there are a lot of single prize builds that just can set up way faster, and it'll just obliterate this build that we have. But yeah, Super Fang is super awesome. I used to play the old Raticate from before. The regular Raticate also has the same attack, Super Fang, and you, in the expanded format, you can use the poison. I forgot what do you call that? It's like it's like an item card that you can poison your opponent. And there's also Koga, which is really easy to use. It's a supporter card that can poison and confuse your opponent. So there's a lot of cards that you can use to instantly poison your opponent's active Pokemon in the expanded format. So you don't have to set up your Garbodor, so it's a lot easier to actually use ALOLAN RATICATE in the expanded format. But my opponent's not going to be able to attack, so they're just going to retreat into their Bronzong, and they're just going to use Intrepid Sword. So that gets us another chance to get another knockout here. We don't have a boss though, so I think I'll just get a cheeky knockout off of this Bronzong. So that prevents them from transferring energies from their Pokemon, and that gets us another prize. And we get a ZOROARK from our prize card, so now we can just retransform into our ALOLAN RATICATE. So we have a really nice setup here. We only need 3 prizes left. They have Melmetal VMAX in the active spot, so we can get 3 prizes off of it. So we have a Scoop Up, we have a Switch, so we can just put any Pokemon in the active spot. We have Raihan, and we have energy in the discard pile, so we got this game already. We got this game. So all we need to do is put an energy, transform into ALOLAN RATICATE first, transfer, put an energy, double turbo energy on our ALOLAN RATICATE, accelerate energy with Raihan, and that's game. Poisonous Puddle, well played, man. Super Fang, reduce their HP down to 10, and with the poison, knocking out their Melmetal VMAX for the win, man. Good game. Alright, let's get right into our next match. Alright, we have... Let me put Yogaloop, Medicham V in the active spot. And we have Radiant Venusaur to start this game. Alright, looks like my opponent's using Water type. See what we're going up against. But our hand is not looking too good right now. I can accelerate the double turbo energy to my Medicham V. That can allow us to retreat. But yeah, it's not going to reduce our hand size. And that's not going to help. Venusaur is not going to help us draw into any more cards on our next turn. So this is a little bit of a predicament here. And we don't even get a basic from that extra draw. Alright, they're going to start with a Sobble in the active spot. I'll just put this double turbo and I'm just going to pass. There's really not much I could do. This is a really bad start for us. Okay, they're going to put an energy to their Sobble. Get another Sobble. And they're going to use Keep Calling. Alright, so they have 3 Sobbles in play. Dude, this is not going too well. I mean, I could just use Yogaloop to put 2 damage counter to one of my opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, I'll just put it in the active spot. Or the active Sobble. Boy, this is not going too good. This is always... this is the start you never want to be in. Especially if you're competing. Feels really bad when you're in this predicament. But yeah, my opponent's Inteleon with the Shady Links line is bonkers. And they're also using Ice Rider Calyrex V. Alright, so this is an Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX build. We can get 3 prizes if we knock one out though, so that's the thing. But I'm pretty sure their setup is a lot faster than us. And we haven't set up anything yet, so this is really, really bad. And that's why I'm also torn between keeping Medicham V in this build, because that adds liability. My opponent can get 2 prizes easily if they knock out our Medicham V. But it works on paper, you know? Ooh, we got a Gloria from our top deck. This is really nice. Now we can set up our Garbodor line and a bunch of Zorua. Fortunately, we don't have Snorlax. So I'm just going to go with this then. And let's see, could put a bunch of energies in the discard pile, so I'll just retreat into Venusaur, I think, because Venusaur is not helping us out. We need Garbodor, we need ZOROARK, we need Raihan. So I'll just retreat. We can discard these 2 dark energies and go from there. We still don't have an ALOLAN RATICATE on our discard pile, so that's another thing. It's really difficult because I experimented with just ALOLAN RATICATE line with ALOLAN Rattata, but with just 40 HP it always gets knocked out and I never get to set up ALOLAN RATICATE. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use the ZOROARK line. The survivability is a lot better for sure, because Zorua has 70 HP and you just transform into ZOROARK, transform into ALOLAN RATICATE, but the setup is a little bit more difficult. They're gonna use escape rope. This is really bad, but at least we can sacrifice 1 Zorua, and they don't have a boss, I hope, and they're just gonna use Melanie. All right, they're gonna transfer or put 1 energy to their Calyrex VMAX, and they're gonna get a knockout here. But again, we are in a bad spot here. We don't have an ALOLAN RATICATE yet, so we really can't get a knockout just yet. So I'll just put my Venusaur for now. We have a scoop up, transform or evolve into ZOROARK, evolve into Garbodor, and we don't even have a stadium. And that's what I mean with this deck, man. It's so annoying. I have no choice but to use Raihan. And then, man, I can't even get 2 cards, because even if I get Raticate, I can't discard it. And it doesn't help that I don't have Snorlax in the deck. It's prized, so I can't draw into any more cards. Might just have to use Professor's Research to draw into more cards in my next turn. It's just, we have a really bad hand. I think that's the only... Yeah, let me just use this. That way we can draw into an extra card with Venusaur at least. Yeah, I'll just scoop it up, put this guy in the active, put Venusaur, switch Venusaur back to the active spot, and I'm just gonna pass. So hopefully we can draw into something here. Alright, well, we got... we got a Slowbro, alright. Man, this is really bad. Really bad. So now my opponent's all set up. They have a bunch of Inteleon line. They have a bunch of Ice Rider Calyrex in play. They're just gonna use Max Lance to get a knockout here. No, they're not gonna knock out my Venusaur. All right. Well, we survive a turn. Yeah, I'll just use Professor's Research. That's fine. Alright, well, we got Eradicate. We just have to discard it. That's the thing. We have to discard it. Tumbling Tackle. Both active or asleep. I mean, I could transform. I could transform into Slowbro and just stall. Could do that, yeah. I'm just gonna stall, guys. I am desperate here. Our setup is going really bad, so I'm just gonna use Tumbling Tackle, deal 0 damage, and then this is horrible. Horrible. And my opponent doesn't stay asleep, so they're gonna get another knockout here. They're gonna boss my Medicham, and they're gonna get 2 prizes. There it is. I don't know. Medicham, should I leave it in this deck or keep it? I think with too much going on right now with the whole setup, I think Medicham is just a nuisance. Could just probably use another card to put in its place. Let me get a quick ball so that I can discard Raticate finally, and then just get a Manaphy, I guess, and just pass. We get an extra card with Venusaur. Alright, double turbo energy is not too bad. At least I can put my Garbodor in the active spot. We can retreat with it. It has enough energy. And then we have 1 energy on our discard pile, so we can use Dark Patch. And we can use... we can finally transform into Alolan Raticate on our next turn and get a knockout. As long as they don't boss my Zorua, we should be okay. And that's the thing, if you have access to like boss's order or whatever, any ZOROARK box, targeting your opponent's ZOROARK is always like, you just have to figure out what they're trying to do. And if you can target their ZOROARK line, most of the time you're gonna break the strategy. And they're just gonna get a knockout off of my Radiant Venusaur. Just put our Garbodor in the active spot and evolve into our ZOROARK. Transform into our Alolan Raticate. Finally, after 4 prizes taken by our opponent. Use Dark Patch. Put an energy to our Alolan Raticate. Use Marnie. Disrupt their hand, hopefully. And we finally got a stadium in play, so that we can use Garbodor's abilities. Man, this is so tough to set up. Alright, Poisonous Puddle. Then we have to set up another ZOROARK line. Dude, we don't have a Zorua. What's going on? Alright, anyways, Super Fang. Reduce their HP down to 10. Poison to knock out their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, getting us 3 prizes. Not bad. So after a long while, we finally get 3 prizes from their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. And so my opponent can easily set up this Ice Rider Calyrex V. There's the Evolution Incense. They probably have a Melanie on hand, and they can just get a knockout. But yeah, all in all, yeah, it's this has been a very tough matchup for us. Very, very clunky deck, I think. And I'm saying that in terms of Alolan Raticate as a standalone, because this is mainly focused on using Alolan Raticate as our main attacker. And if your opponent has like something to guard against the effect of our attack, it's a losing match already. So, alright, they're gonna bump out our stadium with their Path to the Peak, which doesn't really affect us too much. So we're okay with that. As long as there's a stadium in play, we can use Garbodor's ability. But yeah, we don't have a ZOROARK line to replace our Raticates. So now they're down to their last prize. Slowbro, it's all down to you, man. So we're probably gonna lose this game, guys. But I'm just gonna keep playing, okay? So if I use Twilight Inspiration, my opponent can just knock us out. But I could force them to go to sleep. They only have 1 escape rope. But they probably have access to other switching cards. So we probably lost this game already. But you never know. I'm just gonna use Tumbling Tackle. That forces both Pokemon, both active, to sleep. Come on, I need to go to sleep. Alright, cool. So now we could still win this game, guys. So first of all, we need to keep their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX asleep. And then if we can use Twilight Inspiration twice, we could win the game. But if our opponent has a switching card, That's it. So we probably lost this game. This is wow. I hate to admit it, but this was a really bad match for us. I could probably just take out a lot of the other cards from this build and maybe get a lot more recovery cards probably. But as it is, it seems to be working okay. But overall, I think this ALOLAN RATICATE standalone is a little clunky, I think. But I think if you use ALOLAN RATICATE as like a tech card on your like ZOROARK box, I think it's actually pretty good. Dude, they're not gonna attack. Yes, okay, it's asleep. It's asleep. Twilight Inspiration, that gets us 2 cards. 2 prize cards. And we need one more. We need one more. Can we do this is gonna be epic. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! So as long as they don't have any switching cards, we are gonna win this game, guys. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All I see is one escape rope. They're gonna draw into 6 cards. Are they gonna get it? Capacious Bucket, alright. Boy, this is nerve-wracking. That would be awesome if we win this game. That would be really awesome if we actually win this game. Yeah, they don't have any other switch. Do they not? Dude, they don't have it! They don't have it! Victory is ours! Yes! Oh man, good game, good game. I'm just wondering, let me see how much... They have 1 escape rope, that's it! Bro. Alright, well there it is, guys. Good game. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Night channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.